Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hey, hello.
Hi.
Right, we have all the happy minions here today. Well, most of them. Joe is
the
missing.
grumpy one.
The grumpy one as well. Yes. Obviously, the servers are down for the data center migration and update 27. I have a cup of soup. And in typical fashion, because it's a Monday, it's obviously impacted our usual stream. So what we're going to do is what we usually do when this kind of thing happens, is have a little chat. So let's see who's in the chat already with us today. We have Jerry's here, so he can hopefully be useful for a little while. Simaragu, of course, Titan, ourselves who are here in the chat today, and a few other people. Thomas, it's nice to see you. And already the chat is in full swing. So we're going to start, I think, by actually just looking at the release notes. They're not terribly long, not terribly complex. They're quite straight and to the point. So it shouldn't take terribly long to just have a quick glance over them. But hopefully we'll...
Can I ask a question?
You may.
You said the data migration that's happening now?
It's, I believe, Jerry can correct me, but I think it is just the billing information, not the actual full data migration.
Yep. It's the billing and account system.
Okay.
So nothing too complex.
I'm a little behind, I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask before I forgot. I'll shut up now.
Of course, no. Well, of course, everyone should welcome Turtle here. Welcome her back into the fray. She has been absent a little while, and we're very happy to see her today.
Yes.
Alive,
Emergency surgery sucks.
Indeed.
The shell is feeling good enough to see us.
Now, the first thing I wanted to ask, because obviously this is Trials of the Archons is heroic level 13 and epic level 30, but the storyline, in my mind, I haven't actually played any of the quests, so I don't know. But the way it's been described, the storyline in my mind, involving Harry and all of that, takes place after current Shavarath, and those quests are sort of in the 19 plus kind of range. So really, the storyline is actually the level 30 version. If you're following the storyline in order. And I wonder why they also put it in level 13, perhaps to fill a gap in quests at that level. Because they could have effectively put it anywhere. If the storyline is effectively at level 30, they could have put the quests anywhere. So,
I have not done the Lamania, but is Harry actually involved in the new ones at all?
Shh, no spoilers.
well, I'm trying to keep it relatively spoiler light. I'm only going off what is announced officially in the release notes.
Okay, well, my theory is maybe it has nothing to do with him, so it doesn't alter the story at all.
Well,
it
says Harry is involved. I can tell you that much. He is involved.
You just shot my theory into the water. It's okay.
That's my job, I
Yeah,
guess.
the continuity in the story works fine as long as you're going from Shavarath into epics. But yeah, for heroic wise, 13 there's a little bit of a gap. There's a few giant old quests around then, but there's not enough to get you through a full level. Certainly not on a third lifer. So yeah, it fills a bit of a gap in the XP.
I guess
Yeah, I'm gonna appreciate it on my current TRs that I run.
I mean, that's fair enough. I don't know. Is this the first time this has happened where the storyline is not in the lower quest level range, or are there other examples of where the storyline actually takes place in the epic one and there's a lower version that you can just do?
Well, isn't Giant Hold epic, like specific to higher levels?
Yeah, but the storyline still follows on from the heroic one there. In this case, we do have a bit of an out of sync storyline.
Okay, I see what you mean.
The only thing that's really comparable is Chronoscope. But yeah, that's low level again.
Chronoscope, yes, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Chronoscope's in its own time scale of its own.
Indeed, yeah. Chronoscope is just insane. All over the place. So, what else do we have in Update 27? Tavern regeneration in airships. Now, thank goodness. I mean, that is kind of a little thing that has annoyed me about airships from when they made the update, is that sort of semi-obvious thing never really worked. I believe it's the little spas, the bathhouse, and the actual tavern will all now function as tavern regeneration points. Yes, they'll all function as taverns. Yeah, I mean, the legacy version, the legacy tavern in the cargo hold it has always worked. So you could always go down, you could always buy that and have that running in the cargo hold if you wanted an area on your airship. I don't know if the Astral Shard bought tavern actually worked, because I don't have one on my airship. Don't know if anybody knows the answer to that.
I do know on my airship, when we click the buff bar, we get massive healing anywhere on the ship until we get off, both mana and health.
I'd also like to point out that from the Lomania dev tracker from the 23rd of July, somebody pointed out that the Guild Airship Tavern regeneration now allowing players to swap select spells, rejuvenate clickies, didn't seem to be working. Cordovan replied, yes, unfortunately, looks like this won't make it into Update 27, we'll be removing it from the release notes for live. So, is it actually there or is it not?
It isn't.
We won't know until we get in.
Good question.
So you're better off bringing the light in 30 seconds to get your clickies back? Is that what we're saying?
Probably. But yes, it is in the release notes, so I don't know.
Yes, but he did say he was going to remove it from the release notes 2
Yeah.
days ago. Has it been fixed or not? We don't know.
Who knows? Jerry, answer the question. He's in chat. Hopefully, he might be listening.
Mush, Jerry, mush.
Yeah, and seeing as we're on the topic of airships, Titan did mention, of course, the bravery bonus chap. Now, I have a slight issue with this. Nothing to do with the actual concept. The concept of being able to switch off your bravery bonus in order to go and do something different, or to experience a quest that you're not sure you're going to be able to do on Elite, or give it a try, especially with new updates. All of that kind of stuff. I understand why the need for it to exist. Also, grouping with friends. It's all about lots of the stuff in the ideas at the moment are to enhance the grouping experience on servers that may not have the larger populations. But we have a sort of ingrained mechanism to call it a streak. And one might argue that it's not really a streak anymore if you can just stop it. It's not really a streak. So, I don't know.
It only goes up to 5.
Bit of a mentality shift. I don't know if it will happen. People will still call it a streak, but it's just a minor point.
I'd actually like to see this count just stop at 5, so that people know that it doesn't matter beyond that point.
They already know. It's a point of pride. It's not... They think they're getting more.
You can get bragging rights if you get it over 100.
Currently on my completionist attempt, I'm on 1100s on a hard streak, and I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true as well. A lot of people... do you really care or not? I don't know. I don't really care. I like having a streak, but I don't really care about it.
The only place I have a streak currently is with you guys to play Elite. Other than that, it's like normal hard.
I don't even care about streaks, I just do whatever.
So moving on. And the only other thing really on the guild front, I guess, is the change of the name colour to purple from red for the top tier, which may well help people from trying to attack their own guildmates. Having the red bars and make people slightly.
Yeah,
Confused
if they can't tell the difference between a named boss and their guildmates, there's no helping them.
I'm beyond help, Turtle. I've attacked many people with red guild names. I'm ashamed to say.
I keep attacking people's pets. The rust monsters, they get me.
Yup.
I admit it.
I hear you.
But it's all good. And I mean, the only other sort of release that we have, of course, is the next instalment to the Monster Manual, which I think is installment number 5, I want to say. But obviously, I don't know if anyone knows what's actually in that Monster Manual or not. If there's anything interesting. Are dragons? I bet not.
There are 10 types of monster in the Monster Manual, if I remember correctly. I shall find them just now.
While he's having a look, the interesting thing about this Monster Manual, of course, is that it's going to be releasing remnants instead of anything else. There's probably a pet in there as well, I think, but
I think there's a few.
you're looking.
Yes, there are 10 different types of monsters in the current Monster Manual. I assume you would like the list?
I would.
Then I shall begin. In alphabetical order, no less, because that's the order they were posted up by, no worries. We have Gnolls, Hellcats, Ice Flensers, Iron Golems, Liches, Ogres, Scorro. Now he's written Succubus. Surely that's just a minor niggle. Warforged Titans and Water Elementals.
Warforged Titans. Well, I hope they don't
That
expect
was
you to
my
kill
first
thousands.
I discussed this with somebody else. House Cannith Explorer area. There are a number of Titans on the way to the raids, and I believe there's at least one that you have to destroy in the raid as well.
Yeah.
I agree with Dag. As someone who killed 7,000 wraiths and went crazy doing it, that Warforged Titan number better be small.
Yeah. Was it the idea to renew interest in the Titan raid, so you can get one of each time?
I believe it's around 800, possibly 1,600 at most.
That's okay. That's not too bad. It's interesting that they will put Titans in before dragons. Just a thought. I hope they're saving dragons for a special moment. What was the gnolls? And I'm quite happy to see, because we killed trillions of gnolls.
Gnolls and ogres are certainly very plentiful throughout a number of levels. Scorro, there's a fairly tight level range for them, but yeah. Iron golems, yeah, you'd be surprised how many of them you come across.
So, you know.
Made to order.
Mm-hmm.
And what was
The raid I love, the free raid. What's it called? Help me, Sin.
Oh,
The free one.
free one.
The
Tempest
Level
Spine?
Tempest.
Yes, Tempest Spine.
There are a couple of clay golems and iron golems in there, certainly. Yes, I think they have been adding a couple of golems lately, actually. That's a good point. Well, I quite like the monster manuals, to be honest. And so they're looking for a grand total of about 10,000 remnants from those in total. I think was said on another stream.
I believe it's 1,000 remnants for the top tier
of each.
of each accounted.
Mm-hmm. So 10,000 in total if you can get them all, which may be tricky. Then of course this is, I mean, it is a slight boost to remnants, but that I have glossed over a couple of things in the release notes, which I'll go back to. But this leads us on quite nicely to the mysterious remnant rewards that have been listed in the release notes, and these are the new tomes of spell power, ranged power, melee power, physical resistance, and magical resistance, +1s and upgrade tomes from +1 to +2, costing 5,000 remnants each and 7,500 remnants each, respectively. Now, although I like tomes, I mean, who doesn't like a good book? But I have two arguments with this. One is, this is a +1 boost. +1 to magic resistance. +1 to physical resistance. Now, how much is that actually going to get you? Maybe at really low level, but I don't even know what level these tomes would actually kick in.
But they persist through TRs, so I believe they could kick in straight away. Now, at the very, very best, if you had 0 MRR and you had a +1 tome, that +1 is going to give you 1% reduction. And after that, for every other point you have, that 1 is going to reduce in effectiveness.
You can also get it up to 2.
Yes, you can get it up to 2.
Just to clip.
Yes, and so at best, it's going to be +2%.
Well, at the very least, I'm definitely going to be interested in those tomes of spell power.
I mean, the argument, of course, is that, you know, every little helps. A +1 here, a +1 there. That's basically how we build up our stats. But can you honestly say it's worth the investment of 5,000 remnants? You know, all of that to get a +1 upgrade, and then 7,500 remnants for a +2 upgrade after you've already had to have spent the 5,000 for the +1.
Well, to be honest, I'm nowhere near that, so
yeah,
I haven't
me
actually
neither.
gotten anything from the Remnant guide. It's all too expensive.
And I mean,
of course, haven't been grinding for one, but
no, I just play and I get what I get. That's how I operate. Usually, I mean, sometimes I go after things if I really, really want them, but remnants, I pretty much just take them as they come. And I think on Kenneth, I have about 5,000 remnants, and I haven't spent any of them. I admit I spend a lot of my time playing in epic levels, and you do tend to get less, you know, if you're playing a level 28 than you do if you're leveling up a toon. But
you're just hoarding all the cookies, that's why. I want all the damn golden cookies, that's why. Carry on.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that I am happy that DDO has given a way for the minions to collect cookies.
I fully admit to just hoarding heart seeds because they look neat.
I mean, of course, the idea ultimately for these tomes is probably that they'll end up going up to a +5. They'll probably release a +3, a +4, +5. But are you going to, so you're already up to 7,500 remnants for a +2. Is it going to be 10,000 remnants for a +3? How much is it going to cost for a +5? And is it? I guess they do have to balance the aspect where they can't make it so that these are a must-have. So that's kind of, you know, they're nice things to have if you've got loads and loads of remnants to spare. But can you justify a +1 to magic resistance?
I think it's also worth remembering that the whole remnant turn-in thing was never planned. It wasn't supposed to give rewards. The player base said, we want challenge. They gave us champions to challenge us. we immediately complained we didn't get rewards for the challenge. So then they threw in something as a reward, and they made them long-term rewards instead of instant gratification to give us a reason to keep playing, a reason to keep doing quests at level, because people are always complaining that we have no incentive to do these things.
Yeah, to be
They're
fair,
trying to give us what we want, and then we immediately complain it's wrong.
To be fair, there is a very vocal group that complains that there's nothing to do, like, to grind for hours for, because some people seem to enjoy that playstyle, and so the remnants are something to grind for.
Well, you don't really have to grind for them. I mean, I don't grind, and I've had enough to buy the armbands, and I'm sitting on another 12k already.
Oh, I'm not
grind
saying
for them.
you have to grind. I'm just saying
Well,
it's something they
here's the problem.
could grind
I'm
for.
going to cut in here because you're saying that it was put in and it's something to do at endgame.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say
Yeah,
endgame.
somebody did.
Neither did I. I
Yeah.
said grind. I specifically did not use the words endgame because it's a stupid term and I'll never use it.
I said playing at level, not playing at endgame.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point is people said there was no challenge in the game left and that sort of thing, and that challenge is supposed to come from epic levels, specifically Epic Elite. Now, it's much, much easier to run Heroic Elite and get a lot of remnants than it is to run Epic Elite. So the challenge is instantly gone again because you take that completionist, you take them back to level 1 with all your bonuses and all your epic past lives, and you just keep on getting remnants, and you would be amazed how quickly they stack up.
Well,
So it's kind of backfired, that one. It's much easier to do 1 to 20 and gain remnants and grind them out and get past lives at the same time than it is to actually offer any sort of challenge endgame.
But what if that is their goal, to keep us TRing so that new players have someone to play with? I mean, otherwise we'll all sit at the top and not do anything else.
yeah, which I never got with an MMO.
I think maybe well, most MMOs like you to sit at the top, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I think with this is kind of very much an attempt to cater to both ideologies. Then, isn't it? You've got if you want remnants, if you want these little things that you can get with a lot of remnants that not very many people who play it slightly more casually are going to have, you have an incentive to keep TRing and rolling around from 1 to 20, stacking up these remnants to get these rewards. If you are the kind of person that particularly enjoys, getting your 20th run on a raid, sitting at endgame, and of course lots of people do both. They have an endgame character that sits there, and this is what I do. I have a level 28 cleric that sits at 28, and he's looking for some very specific pieces of loot. But I also have characters that run around in the 1 to 20 kind of region, trying, mostly because I like trying different characters and trying new things. And it caters to both ideas. If they're trying to build an endgame, the cap to 30, the green steel sentient weapons, level 30 quests, things like this update with the Archon stuff, which is at level 30, and endgame raiding and all that. They're building that, and they also have provided you with the challenge that keeps with champions, the challenge that keeps the run from 1 to 20 interesting, and given you a reward to work for doing that. So ultimately, yes, I guess that's it. Working for both things. And I very much like Turtle's little argument as well.
It's just my thought.
I understand that this is a fairly recent thing just because people have gotten so many past lives and stuff that doing stuff like Elite is nothing to them. But I don't really understand why it's a hard issue to fix. DDO already has an amazing inclusion of difficulties. So I don't get why people are asking for like a 5th difficulty. All it needs to do is readjust the difficulty. So normal people, the average player plays normal, and Elite is the thing for the elites. Like the fact that most people play Elite is wrong.
Well,
it wastes the fact that we have multiple difficulties.
This
I
is
don't think most
after-
people playing Elite is wrong. I think all people playing Elite is wrong, but I don't think most is incorrect.
you have to
I'll
believe.
play Elite
Oh.
on Heroic, but I play very little Elite on Epic.
Which is fair enough. The game has lent itself over the years more and more towards encouraging elite play, particularly with enhancing the rewards for doing that. And in so doing, it has encouraged other things to happen as well. I mean, we can talk all day about healers no longer being a requirement, groups not being formed because people prefer to solo so they don't lose their 10% bonus XP for the...
Although that's been fixed.
Well, no, we'll come to that. But, you know, it's a very sort of complex issue that has developed over a long period of time to encourage more and more people to play at a higher difficulty, to the extent that has become the norm. You also have to realise, with an older game, people have been playing it a long time. We're very good at it, and that has, in so doing, we are much more used to playing higher difficulties. I mean, we know, if you look around, but if you look, say, at the Players News, which is a podcast that consists of players who are pretty much new to the game, they still struggle with Elite. They still play normal and hard difficulty, and struggle. Perhaps because they don't have the loot, perhaps because they don't have the experience, the dexterity, the understanding of the mechanics compared to other games that they play. But people still do play those difficulties, and particularly in Epic Elite is still something that you have to be, quote, ready, unquote, for, and especially with the really high stuff. And a lot of people play hard, myself included, preferentially over anything else, unless we're in a strong group. So, that being said, it's I think the next thing is, do we want another difficulty that's harder than Elite? And
I don't care, but I do know a lot of people do.
I don't care, and a lot of people, or is it a lot of people, or is it the vocal people, the people who are quite happy running around on the lower difficulties, the very casual players, the new players? Do they frequent the forums? Do they have a voice in the community?
Well, I obviously don't really care. I only play on Elite because of you guys. I generally play on normal or hard, so that suits me. Having another difficulty is completely irrelevant to me. But I see a lot of people talking about it on the forums and stuff, so I do understand that it is a thing that is wanted. But so, just saying, we already have 4 difficulties. It wouldn't be that hard to shift hard and Elite up, and then hard becomes kind of
and then, of course,
standard.
Yeah, of course, the tricky part with this is also, what do you do to make that next difficulty? How do you shift it? If it's an introduction of another difficulty, or if it's just a shift.
Everywhere.
Well, that is one of the ideas.
There's a problem with shifting the hard and elite difficulties, because these new players that we're talking about, it's an abrupt change between normal into hard and elite. If they're struggling as they're going up now, if we make them harder to please the other people, those people are just gonna have no chance. Giving a new difficulty gives those vocal people what they want and their choice, and it leaves the progression for the newer players to work their way up to it also without harming them.
Okay,
so it
on
gives
that note,
both sides what they want.
On that note, casual is useless. I don't care how bad of a player you are, casual is useless.
That's fabulous for running Demon Queen flagging every time. Oh my god, fix that.
Okay, it has one use, but in general, that is a useless difficulty.
And why have they not fixed that? They fixed the Vons. Why did they not go back and do that?
So
small things.
Casual is useless, so all I'm saying is we would still have 4 difficulties, but we'd kind of get rid of casual and replace it with normal.
That's an interesting point. I don't think I've ever run anything on casual.
Yeah, I tried it, and it's like, This is not fun. And I play on normal. Like, casual is ridiculously useless.
But we don't have a metric. We don't know what other players are doing. We all have beliefs what they're doing, but we don't know for fact.
Survey
does anyone
time.
play casual?
Yeah, well, they internally they do have records of the popular quests and presumably also the difficulties that are being run on.
Yeah.
So perhaps they have a better idea than we do. It would be interesting if there was a survey done and we could see some results about the actual whole player base's reactions.
They did post recently that Temple of Elemental Evil was still in the top few quests being run, despite all the complaints on the forums. Everybody said it wasn't worth running for the XP and whatnot, and it was still in the top 3 or 5 quests being run.
I love that quest.
All
I
the
play
things
it
that
all
get
the
complained
time.
about on the forums are usually fairly, like, a very small percentage of the game.
Is it the people that are complaining on the forums, or the people that have run the numbers, are looking for exactly what they want, they what they expect, what they thought they were going to get, and farming the mats, farming the loot, min-maxing, all of that. Whereas half of the player base, myself included, I would count myself among the people that I simply run Temple of Elemental Evil just for the fun of it, because it's a fun thing, fond memories, a fun little thing to do. An enjoyable quest.
And it's a great thing to do if you're on your own waiting for your friends or your group or whatever, to just run through and grab the slayers and hunt some mushrooms for a while. If you don't have time to do anything else, like 10 minutes, I'll just go look for some mushrooms.
Oh, I've been running Ruins of Thunderhome lately. That place is beautiful.
Yeah, that was really well done.
I totally understand. I'm currently at level 26 on Walkit, and I'm still using level 12 gear. I've had to stop and be like, okay, I need to update because I don't play for loot. I use whatever I happen to get and then go do the thing that looks cool. So we've kind of had to stop.
Breath weapon is mean. You need gear for that. She is mean.
And at the bottom of Thunderhome?
Yeah, she is mean.
Yeah, she wrecked us. Even I, Walkit the Invincible, was having issues staying alive. I didn't die, but I was having issues.
The day I soloed her, I made Codex take me out and buy me a cupcake.
Yeah, no, she's hard. And you know what? We loved it. We loved the fact that we were dying left and right. It was amazing. And we made it through, and that we were like, yes! And it was just an Explorer rare, like... Yeah. After that, though, we went and killed the Black Knight, and I was like, oh, well, that was easy. What the hell's wrong with you, Black Knight? It wasn't even that easy of a fight, just compared to her, it was like, oh. Well, you're dead now. Yeah, no, it's definitely fun.
Now then, so we've covered that little morsel quite thoroughly. Let's just have a little look-see at some other things. There are some slightly intriguing little things in the release notes as well. The change of the Shavarath environmental effect, because it effectively used to just give you greater heroism to everything, +4 to all saving throws. Now it's the saving throws are just versus fear and versus enchantment, and everything else is not the case. Now, is that a sneaky little treatment towards DC casting and things like that?
Yes. It's been in the Lamania notes again. Basically, the DCs were just getting a little bit too high. So rather than go through and adjust every single mob's stats and skills, and you're talking 3 numbers on every single mob in every single quest, it was a lot easier to change one thing.
Yeah,
for this one update.
Quite fortunate that they kind of had
Sorry,
that
what
in
did
there
they do?
Anyway. Are you familiar with the Shavarath environmental effect? If you are in Shavarath,
Yes.
the plane of battle, you and every entity that exists there
Basically,
has greater heroism because it's a battlefield, and that's kind of just a planar effect. and they've modified that greater heroism effect to remove the fact that it just gave you +4 to all saving throws and replace it with just a +4 to will saves versus fear and will saves versus enchantments. So, one, that makes casting greater heroism in there useful, but two, also, because it affects the mobs as well as yourself, it makes DC casting on your part easier, slightly, to make it slightly less ridiculous for a DC caster to actually function. The
thing about DC casting is there's all the mobs. Again, let me try and find a post, because there was a couple of things that Varg had posted up about this. Just as a sort of example.
I do remember Seymour Agoo, but that was a long time ago, and it's not because of the game changes, but it's because I've done the quest so many times. There's no surprises anymore, and they can't count for that.
People basically pestered Varg until he actually posted up a couple of examples. So, 2 examples from the same quest, both on Epic Elite. A Shavarath Dretch has a Fortitude save of 89, but it only has a Will save of 27. Whereas a Fire Reaver in the same quest has a Fort save of 80 and a Will save of 74, but a Reflex of 36. So all the mobs have strong and weak saves, and it's just a matter of actually adjusting your spells to find the weak saves. It's not a case of all their saves are completely over the top.
It's interesting, because I'm a kind of person who likes to remember things like damage reduction against particular mob types. I imagine for someone who's a lot more caster focused, a lot more interested in DC casting, would be somewhat more focused on remembering, that beholders are going to have a very low strength, so if you can knock their strength damage out, they're much more likely to be incapacitated. And then, of course, with the saves, which save is most likely to be weakest for a particular monster type. Things like that. It's something that I've never bothered to remember.
I think most people rely on 1 or 2 spells that they have really high DCs for, and when that DC doesn't work, they go, "What's wrong?
Yeah.
It can't be me, it must be the mob." Rather than going, "Well, maybe I should try a different tactic."
I'd like to see DCs be a little less binary. It's like, see in the forums, like one guy has like 68 DC, another guy has 71. With 71 can run around mass holding all day, and the guy that has 68 is basically screwed. I'd like to see them somehow expand it a little bit so that it's not 0% or 100%. Like, something similar to PRR or whatever.
Well,
the whole point is they shouldn't be, because there is a D20 rolled on top of that. So it should only be a 15% difference between those two. But people see things differently when they actually go through things personally. So they might see a lot of failures in one run, they might see a lot of successes in one run. It's not as binary as it works or it doesn't. But hey.
Unless you just really have really low DCs, then it might be as binary as it works or it doesn't. More favouring that doesn't.
If you're like below the DC and you're only rolling on like you're only getting them on like an 18-19 because you have terrible equipment like I do, it'd be nice to at least still have a 5% chance to hit them.
Well, that's the whole point. You do. If you're needing an 18 or 20, you're having a 15% chance of hitting them.
Of course, varying.
I don't think it quite works that way.
Well, varying, it should do. Varying with...
D20 every 1 point is 5%, so 18, 19, 20 is 15%.
But of course,
yes, that's how it should work, but I don't think it actually works that way.
You also have to bear in mind with mob type as well. So if you're succeeding on an 18, 19, 20 on a mob type that save works well against, if you come across the other 2 categories of mob that you're fighting where that save isn't weak, you're going to fail on all of them. So your overall gameplay experience is going to be a 15% success with the third of the mobs that you can actually affect. Not to mention the ones that are immune altogether to whatever it is that you're doing. Say, for example, undead have some blanket immunities to some things. So it can be quite a limiting thing, which brings us back around to the idea of having something that can break different saves. So if two of your saves aren't working, you can look at the others.
The sigils, I remember those.
I never want to do the Death's Chain again because that was my group's favorite place to farm the silver ones. Oh my god. I still cringe when I have to go there, and it's been how many years since they used those?
I remember they put them on sale for like 1 turbine point, and I bought like 1,000 of all of them.
Do you remember the huge party when they lowered the price to 10 each instead of 200?
Yeah. And then they were like, oh yeah, and we dropped them. I was like, but what do I do with all these sigils? No, that actually reminds me, Dag. I was fighting a ghost in Thunderhome. He's a merchant or something, and I was casting all the DOTs on him just because. And I was like, why? I'm casting fire spells, and it's working, but then I cast my fire DOT and it's not working. It says immune. What the hell's going on? So I'm whining and complaining to my friends, and my friend is like, wait, isn't the fire DOT burning blood? It's a ghost, dude. He doesn't have blood. Oh, right.
Yeah, the whole problem was he lost his blood a long time ago, and that's how he ended up where he is now.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like, it's total like, duh, no wonder. Like, but yeah.
I'm so used to undead being immune to cold in the pen and paper that I was floored when I just started casting stuff so I looked like I was doing something and things died with my ice savant. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah, lower levels it's much more vulnerable to, much more likely to encounter undead that could be affected by cold. Certainly. A couple of other quick things. Do we all agree that warlocks, particularly in heroic levels, were just a teensy tiny bit overpowered? Do we agree?
Sorry, just as a brief aside, Gordon has posted in the Dev tracker, did the guild ship tavern fix really make it in? And he has replied, yes, it did get fixed and made it in the build.
Hooray! I'm very glad about that. Excellent work. What on earth was I saying? Oh yes, warlocks. There have been a few changes to warlocks. Slight change to spell component requirements, so what it should be. Change of charm immunity so that it incorporates confusion as well, which makes some sense. Silence now uses heightened, which again makes sense. And a slight modification to some of the power words so that they work slightly better. But overall, the big change, I think, to warlocks is primarily the decrease of damage from scaling 150% to 120%, which is a decrease in damage output. And in my experience of warlocks, I haven't personally played one beyond level 4, but I've watched them and I've been in parties with them on numerous occasions, and in my experience they have a very high damage output, particularly in heroic levels. I don't know how they compare in epic levels, if that scaling is curtailed by things like advancing at the epic levels, not necessarily having a destiny that's designed for them and things like that. But certainly in heroic levels, my experience has been that they've had quite a high damage output, higher than one would expect, to the extent that my paladin can, by the time she's run over to anything, they're already dead. Just as a complete aside, I'm very glad that, I can't remember what the spell is, but the one with the wiggly tentacles that come out of the ground. That effect has been around for such a long time. You can see it in the Genev Brothers show, and a couple of other places, but it's never actually been a spell, and now it's actually in. They've used the graphic for a spell, which I like very much.
I'm quite happy with the graphic they used. It's very apt.
It can sometimes get a little bit in the way.
There is one complaint I have on that on a related topic on that one, and that is whenever they bring out new classes and new spells.
No, your wizard can't have it.
I wasn't asking for the wizard.
I know, I'm referring
at
to
least
it.
finish the statement before you actually start debunking my ideas, please. Come on.
Sorry, I wasn't actually referring to you. That was...
Whenever they bring out new spells, they only get them for the new classes. Things like Earthquake, when the Druid came out, it was a cleric spell long before Druids even existed in pen and paper. And there are a number of other examples such as that. And it would be nice to see some of these newer spells, even though they're not that new now, from going from things like Druid and Artificer and so on. It'd be nice to see some of them sort of retrofitted back into the old classes.
I think that's deliberate, and I understand why. What they're trying to do is, I know it is... Earthquake is not specifically a Druid spell, but by giving Earthquake only to Druid, it gives them something that clerics don't have. So that gives it a little bit of a separation. So if they gave Everett's to everyone...
Druids had that spell long before... Oh, sorry, clerics had that spell long before Druids even existed.
Yes, and Wizards had Everett's first, but Everett's has become a very iconic Warlock spell. So by giving it to them, it gives them something that Wizards don't have. I understand that they're all supposed to have them, but it gives them a little bit of uniqueness, and I don't hold it against the devs for doing that. I understand.
I think they should have gone with the 5th ed and used the invocations. They're a hell of a lot of fun to play in pen and paper.
Yeah. I wonder, I question the inclusion of somatic components for a Warlock.
I think that's a balance thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they already don't have to worry about mana.
But yeah, they do. No, I mean in DDO.
Yeah. A Warlock who actually worries about mana is doing strange things. I have played with many, many of them, and I have yet to see one shrine a single time in any of these quests.
Sorry, did I miss them not using spell points for their spells?
Well, they don't have to use it for the bulk of their attacks, their basic attacks, because of they only...
A Warlock will walk into a quest, use spell points to buff themselves and possibly other members of the party, and then not spend spell points until those buffs run out.
Okay, is there not CC Warlocks? Like, I haven't...
With the damage as high as it is, why bother?
At this moment in time.
Yeah, they're all just blasting.
I know, but I don't know. They have such a small spell pool. I guess it's not really convenient to be able to CC.
I mean, I agree with you that they should be more adventurous. They should be using their spell capacity better. And if they weren't outright killing everything as soon as they saw it, then perhaps they would be. But as things are at the moment, their DPS is sufficiently high that they don't have to worry about their other abilities quite so much as you would think. As I say, I am slightly biased in having only really encountered them in heroic levels, and really examined them closely in heroic levels. I've run a couple of Warlocks in epic levels, but I haven't really had the opportunity to examine them because my experience of epic levels just lately has been some rather challenging raids where I have to give it my complete concentration on keeping people alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, my lock experience live-wise is extremely limited because I've been unable to purchase Divine Points to be able to buy it. So I've only seen stuff third person or on Lamania. So.
Well, fortunately for me and my reputation on Sarlona, Dre had the sense to keep me out of epics while I was drugged up. So basically all I know about them in the epics is what's on, guild chat. And apparently they're doing fairly well because my guildies love these things.
Mind if I just interrupt? The screenshot on the stream at this precise moment is the last known location of Mary Mossand. If you do see her, please let the relevant Stonebridge authorities know. Thanks.
I want Mary back!
So are we scrolling them, or is Turbine doing that since there's no video feed?
No, I'm doing it.
Okay, I didn't know.
Me.
I'm curious.
Oh, I figured you had them on a loop.
Yeah, they're running automatically, but
okay.
It's my personal collection.
Okay.
What else have we got going on at present?
I gotta say though.
After you.
Sorry, I haven't really played them on live, obviously, but I gotta say, devs, Eldritch Blast is so much fun. Like, it's just a fun thing. Well, whatever. You know me. I don't really care if things are overpowered or underpowered. I care if they're fun, and it's fun to shoot people with missiles or to blow them up with an AOE around you. It's just fun, and I don't care whether it's underpowered or overpowered. It's fun.
One slightly curious point that I just noticed in the release notes is that in the Temple of Elemental Evil, the Rust Monster Rare has been renamed to Bladebreaker after getting a cease and desist order from Thunderhome. Now that's obviously a joke, but I don't get it. What does anybody know?
I think they were both called Brightbane. Like originally in Thunderhome, there was a Rust Monster called Brightbane. Trust me, I've killed him a bunch of times. I've been rending Thunderhome, and the other one in the other place, which I haven't actually been yet, was apparently also called Brightbane.
Oh, okay.
So it was a naming issue.
Right,
There's
gotcha,
two helmets with the same name too, but I can't remember what they are off the top of my head.
Oh my god, that reminds me. One of the rares in Thunderhome is a helmed horror, and he floats around. But I don't know if this is a bug or if he's supposed to be able to do this, but occasionally he'll just run up to the ceiling and hide in the corner. and be like, hello, come down. And he'll just sit there throwing knives at you. I don't know if it's a bug or...
You have to do the kangaroo fight, as I call it. Leap, hit, drop, leap, hit, drop. I'm a kangaroo!
I know he went all the way up to where like all the rocky ceiling is. It's like, hey, get back down here!
Well, I mean, we have pretty much covered the bulk of the release notes. I don't know if anybody has anything in particular other than that they wanted to mention. We did gloss over a slight modification to hirelings, which I'll believe when I see it, and a slight modification to a couple of enhancements to sort of fix them.
In other words, the hirelings got a new lobotomy and they'll be worse than ever.
No, I like if it works. The flag idea is really cool. That actually shows you where they're supposed to stay. My friend and I make heavy use of hirelings, so we're gonna run that new change into the ground. So we'll let you know.
I do confess, I do really enjoy standing there with the ability to heal, watching Dre's hireling ignore him and watching Dre die. It is high entertainment, and I will miss that if they fix it.
I especially love the clerics that stand in traps going, heal me, heal me, heal me.
Especially love, is that the correct choice of words?
You know what, like I said, I don't really care. It's fun. I love laughing at the terrible AI. I just have fun with this game.
So, moving on then, we did want to have a little flick through the loot list, which has been, graciously assembled by those wonderful wiki people. Now, Sin, I'm going to turn the floor over to you just as an opener, because you've mentioned already to me personally some interesting ones to bring people's attention to. So, what are your thoughts on the loot list as an opener? If he's there.
Well, there are a few nice, interesting items that I've spotted in there. I've generally only really looked at the epic list, I must admit. I did notice a couple of nice cleric items I thought you would be interested in. A lovely little helm there, which is Halcyonia. I've been looking for a helm from a cleric for a while, so it kind of jumped out at me. Which has quality wisdom 2, which is yet another stacking wisdom bonus.
Yes, quite unique.
Yep.
Give me another
150
Constitution belt.
150 devotion, magical efficiency 10%, which is quite nice for a cleric as well. It has your heal and lore 10, and it also has insightful heal 2 with a green augment slot.
I have to say, for those of you who know me, I like building clerics very much.
Really?
Well, indeed. I'm my level 28 cleric. I have tried so many things with my different loot configurations, and I never have found something that I really want to put on my head. So I'm very much looking forward to that particular helmet. Frankly,
I really want that sword.
Yeah, we'll get to the sword in a minute. Frankly, I could do with the extra quality wisdom, because I love it. So yes, I will be looking for that. And the green augment is because the only thing that I've really got on my head at the moment is a hat with a yellow augment slot in it that has my evocation bonus augment in it. So it will accommodate that quite nicely.
I'm actually really tempted to try to grind out the ultimatum for the only reason I grind loot at endgame for glamoring, because that thing looks awesome. I don't even care what effects are on it. It's an awesome looking shield.
I apologize, Dag. I hit the wrong button. I meant that for TeamSpeak.
Oh well, I'll let you off.
I did not mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
I'll forgive you.
But I do really, really want that sword.
So which sword is that? I'm interested to know what sword.
The one that doesn't have a name. In the raid section.
Oh, raid
DNT
section.
TBD.
Longsword. Plus 13 longsword, improved vanishing, sovereign vorpal, axiomatic 10, armor piercing 20%, double strike 15%, red and orange augment slot, and a crit range of 17 to 20. Also pointing out that it's a longsword, so for my melee focus cleric, his preferred weapon is longsword, so I'll have that one as well.
Ooh, that is very nice.
Yeah, I've been experimenting with a single weapon fighting paladin. I really want that.
Magical
I see
devs,
something for
please
Sin. Belt of braided beards. That is a dwarf item if I ever saw it.
Apparently allows you to teleport for some reason.
We need another teleport item. The only, I believe the only item currently in the game that you can find in random, named loot is the mask from the Restless Isles. Will allow you to teleport.
That never drops.
Actually, that is one thing. Is clickies went away for a very long time, and I'm surprised how much the forums freaked out when they added clickies. It's like, what? No, that's cool. Shut up.
I have to actually step in here. One of my guildmates over the weekend dropped 2 Royal Guard masks. So to say that it never drops is completely false. It just drops for him.
Okay, Sin, but remember, when I say things like that, I mean things never drop for me, because you guys have seen how I can pull something that none of you want in every single chest we play.
I have never even seen a Royal Guard mask drop myself, but yes, he dropped 2 over the weekend.
2.
The only super rare thing I've ever gotten was the Bloodstone. It was my first time in the desert, and I had no idea what it was. And some guy in the party was like, "Oh, hey, that's cool. Can I have it?" It was like, I don't know. It doesn't look like I'll use it. I was on a wizard or something. I was like, okay, here you go. The only rare drop I've ever gotten, and I just sort of gave it away.
I had 1 ring of spell storing, and I did not pull it. Someone else felt sorry for me and gave it to me.
Yeah.
showed up in my mailbox.
I will make you jealous and let you know that I do have a Royal Guard mask. Just one.
I'm not jealous because I have UMD and teleport skulls, sweetheart.
Yes.
I just make sure I always play characters with teleport.
I still have 20 teleport rods from the old European traveler.
I have gotten in trouble at teleport though because they will never let me forget the time I teleported myself out of the shroud I was leading by accident.
Yeah, I have plenty of teleport rods from the Mimic event.
That's when I learned you do not, when you have the mark on your fighter, you do not put those out on a bar for convenience, because when you hit them, there's no breaking that.
I'll tell you a little story. Clerics, of course, don't have the teleport spell. Incidentally, that is where my Royal Guard mask currently is with one of my clerics, so that he can teleport.
Yeah, all you guys get is go back to that
But
temple.
we get word.
That's all you
Yeah,
guys
we
get.
have word of recall. That's right. Just a side note, I would like it if we could pick where word of recall went, because you're supposed the actual mechanic of the real spell is you can assign it to somewhere very close to your I don't know how to say it, but it's somewhere very familiar to you. You can call yourself back there, which I kind of makes sense for a cleric of the Sovereign Host to be drawn to the temple of the Sovereign Host. But for anyone else, or if you have perhaps some other preferential location, doesn't make a lot of sense. Might be interesting if we could have maybe a couple more religious buildings poking around the, just thematically speaking. I don't expect it to happen, but you know, we have so many different religions pervading underneath the paladins and clerics and Blade Forged and Favoured Souls there, and even just generally the races. To be able to recall to a location specific to your deity rather than just a pantheon would be thematically more correct. But back in the day, of course, I used to I always carry a scroll of word of recall with me. I still do. And back in a long time ago when I used to pug a lot, clerics, I think we develop a mentality over time to be more patient. But the younger clerics tend to be the ones who are more like, if you annoy me, I might just let you die. I mean, I still do to a certain extent if you really annoy me, but
I'm sure I push those limits.
no, not at all.
Be the barbarian who screamed "heal me" every time he got a 5 hit point ding with over 1,000 hit points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine what happened to him when I was healing.
So, my little trick with pugging was if they really, really annoyed me, I would just be like, well, thanks guys, and then just vanish.
You know what?
Disappear right in front of them.
Problems.
Just vanish completely off the face of the earth, and they'd be like, "What? How did he teleported? I didn't know clerics could teleport. What's going on? Where's he gone?" Blah, blah, blah. Now you feel sorry for yourself. Of course, this is hailing from a day when
your clerical problems.
This is of course hailing from a day when people actually valued having a healer in the group rather than just having it as a nice little extra.
I quite enjoy having our Degs year round.
If they couldn't do it thematically, what would you think about changing Word of Recall from that oddly placed temple to the guild ships? I guess for the non-guilded that would be a problem, though.
Yeah,
I know a way that would work completely within the lore. Travel domain.
Oh, let's not start the domain argument. We'll be here all day.
Yeah. I was just trying to think of something that would work for clerics in the game.
The perfect template for domains. Warlock packs. The coding's already there. Just copy it over to cleric.
Well, perhaps. You know, clerics will get their turn eventually, I guess. But I'm expecting other classes to get, you know, the ones, obviously, I mean, they've said it a few times, the ones that have missing destinies and missing enhancement trees will get looked at first.
Yeah.
Because of course now we're in a situation where two classes don't have a destiny that's sort of themed after them, that being the arty and the warlock.
They are.
And I can't remember.
And apparently Steel Star is foaming at the bit to be able to make an artificer one. So.
And I don't know what off the top of my head which classes are still missing a third tree. I know the arties are favoured souls,
favoured souls, and sorcerers technically, because you have one savant tree, and that's it.
Sorcerers technically have two.
There is a nice ring in the raid loot list that is UMD +7. It's a competence bonus now. So that I don't know how that would work out with most people, because people like to balance their competence bonuses and their enhancement bonuses when it comes to UMD bonus items. But a +7 nonetheless.
I just want a belt.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I covet strange tidings.
I just want a belt that's Con 11, Resistance 12 without Death Block on it. Stupid Death Block.
And the sad part is, I'm coveting this for a character that already has a 52 UMD. I don't know why I need more, but I want it.
And sorry, what's this ring called?
The ring.
Strange tidings.
Yeah. Ah, I found it. Yes. Oh, and a nice deception on it too.
And diversion.
That is a nice rogue item.
I love diversion. Makes things that, hit my weaker characters less. That's a good thing.
Titan
That's a nice item.
Titan was bringing my attention to the Great Axe. I haven't seen the Great Axe. Where is the Great Axe?
Really?
Great Axe.
Epic Rift Maker, Great Axe, 5d12, +12 enhancement bonus, superior force burst, improved banishing, bloodletter 7, and +6 melee power with an orange slot.
Now, wait, hold on. We're pulling banishing items from Shavarath. And on the face of it, you think, ooh, that sounds nice, I'll use that in Shavarath. But you won't, because you can't banish the things you're fighting in Shavarath, because that's their home plane. They can banish you.
Yep.
So they're not useful in Shavarath.
That makes sense why they would have
why they would have that weapon there. Absolutely. And they would be using it against you, and you pick it up off them.
Devotion 150, healing amp 20 on a shield daggy.
Well, I was looking at the Visions of Precision. Clearly a monk item, because they have key enhancement in there and dazing. But so if you've got a clunk going, Insightful Wisdom 12, Insightful Wisdom +4, so there's a +16 Wisdom from that one item alone. There may be a quality bonus from your other item if you like, and then if you're so clunks would benefit well from some of these items. I don't know if there's any hand wraps or anything anywhere or anything like that. I haven't seen any good hand wraps for a while, to be honest.
There are hand wraps. There's hand wraps and shuriken. Hand wraps are Holy 6, Solar 6, Impact 5, and Greater Reinforced Fists.
Ooh. Resonation is going to be great for a Fey Warlock, along with the Lantern Ring, and you put all kinds of extra. You're doing both extra light and sonic damage under your Eldritch Blast there.
I think a lot of people are going to like that one trinket, though. Constant displacement. Even if it's lesser, it's still constant.
Lesser displacement's 25%, which is 5% more than Blur. The one that gets me is the Invisibility Guard, because that is very, very useful. As long as you're not a main tank, that is a fantastic thing to have.
I wonder if they took the bats off it, or if you'll dissolve into bats like the cloak. That'd be funny.
I do like the cloak.
Invisibility Guard, is that not also on the Draupa Waffly?
Not the Draupa Waffly, it's on the Maybar one.
It also
Cloak
has
of Night.
a feather cloak.
Yeah,
like you,
I
which
know
is
it's on that one. I thought it was on the Draupa Waffly as well.
Is it? I don't remember.
Yeah, that is really a really nice item. It even has a nice little feather cloak cookie on there for you.
a quarterstaff in there. Titan obviously has been very helpful, pointing at some interesting little bits and pieces for me. There's vanishing quarterstaff, metal and vertigo 8, solar 3. It's on the enhancement side of on the heroic side of things, and on the epic side of things, where is it? Must be another one in there somewhere.
5d6, 12 enhancement bonus, solar 6, vertigo 15, metal line, and improved banishing.
I have
really throwing the banishing.
Yeah, I have. Well, obviously, yeah. I have seen quite the bump in people looking for quarterstaffs and things. You know, with their acrobat types lately. Certainly.
The epic bone crusher from Palace of Stone is actually one of the best in the game at the moment. It matches Sirith.
Okay, I see where all the druids are going. Height of the Fallen.
Yep, the Druidic Survival Mastery.
I remember. I think it was Steel Star saying that he was very pleased with that item and giving a little bit of love to druids with that one.
Yeah. Basing it on wilderness lore, that's cool.
We have a new bonus, quality.
Yes, indeed. Apparently. So
I'm surprised they didn't save that for 30, though.
You can have exceptional, insightful, unique, quality, alchemical, enhancement, competence. Any more? For any more? Store, guild. I don't know. Is that it? Have I done the set?
You forgot tomes.
Oh, inherent, of course.
Well, realistically, if they're going to do Epic Veil for 30, they're not going to want this stuff competing with the Epic Green Steel. So I'm not surprised it's min level 28.
I wonder if I don't know if this was ever like confirmed beyond it would be a cool idea, but sentient weapons. I wonder if they're gonna like merge that with Epic Green Steel. Like it's both a sentient weapon and Epic Green Steel.
When I was on the Players Council last year, it was discussed that they were thinking about not doing Epic Green Steel weapons because they didn't want it to compete with the sentient. They wanted them to be two entirely separate things.
In the recent stream, Tolero.
My NDA is over.
Tolero did say that they've gone back to the drawing board somewhat with things like with that stuff, you know, sentient weapons and what have you, because they weren't happy with the way that the discussion was heading or that their ideas were going. So. It may well be sometime since we see them, and it may well. I think it's more likely that we will see Epic Green Steel come out, and sentient weapons will be separate, entirely separate, and a completely different thing based on whatever it is.
Well, I have two ridiculous ideas that will probably never be done, but sound cool. Idea number 1: a incentive to TR. You can get it at level 30. And then when you TR, it stays with you, and it's a weapon that levels with you. Idea number 2: sentient weapons control themselves and are living hirelings that level with you. 2 ideas that will never happen, but sound interesting.
I kind of have a bias about sentient weapons because the fun for me in sentient weapons and pen and paper was always the personality and the weird stuff that happened. And they can't do that in the game.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they
unless
can.
Unless they give it a voice.
Unless they give it a DM playing it to react to the situation. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool.
They could hire an army of people to torture us.
I really would think it would be absolutely hilarious if. Are you familiar with the game the Stanley Parable?
No.
Yes.
Well.
Somewhat.
You just look it up on YouTube or actually go and play it. I highly recommend it. But something perhaps akin to that. I'll call him the Dungeon Master for the sake of argument, so you understand the concept. But the narrator, the guy who's looking after you, the Dungeon Master, effectively of the game, the Stanley Parable, I really would like it if there was something kind of that sort of dry and funny, just whispering at you from the sentient weapon. it may well end up being more text-based than voice-based, but I would expect like the weapon to have like an experience bar perhaps or something like that. But
Have you ever played Morrowind?
myself personally, no. I know Queen has.
Oh, the Lalarker mod would be awesome too. Somebody took a D&D based weapon and modded it into Morrowind and did voiceovers for it, and the stuff that sword said was hilarious.
Yeah, if they make the sentient swords talking, that would be amazing.
Yeah, then
Otherwise,
I'd get behind it.
Yeah, otherwise I don't really see what makes, like, sentient is very much, the point of them is role-playing. Like, you get influenced by their wants and desires. They're really a character of their own, so I don't really see how it would work in DDO without
To me,
some
it
sort
comes
of
across as a
voiceover.
grind wheel. And there's two types of grind wheels. There's the ones you don't notice because you're having fun. You're TRing, you're playing the quest, you're laughing with your friends, you're having a good time. You don't really notice you're doing the same thing over and over on the grind wheel as much. And then there's the one where it feels like work and you're going, oh god, why am I on this game again? And the weapons come across as two to me.
But what if perhaps they were a third category where it's not that you don't notice them. So for me, for example, the monster manual is an example of something that I don't notice, it just happens. And then obviously you've got category 2 that you describe as where you really do notice it and you're getting tired of it. But then what about with sentient weapons? Why not a third category where you both notice it and enjoy it? Because
see, that would be okay, but I'm not sure how they could achieve it.
Yes, absolutely.
Within the limits of the game.
And I think that's more of a personal preference. Some people actually love the grind, so never get number 2. It's what they do. That's why they play MMOs. It's like the reason I don't play most MMOs is because most are grind focused. But a lot of people actually enjoy that and never get number 2. So that is, it's more of a playstyle thing than as to whether it's a good grind or a bad grind. Although good and bad grinds do exist.
I think a better articulation is there's no way this can ever be the pen and paper version, so everything in pen and paper should not be brought over because some things just will not translate well.
Yes.
I think is my concern.
Well, yeah, it's why they've had to do a lot of custom ruling, just because you're trying to translate a turn-based text game into a real-time graphical-based game. The rules need to be changed. It doesn't all.
And some of the
translate over.
custom stuff was because they knew about the upcoming changes from WOTC. Because they're trying to get in line with some of that too.
I don't know. I quite like the new AC system. It works great when I can have my AC up to 200 something.
Well, with that, ladies and gents, we've pretty much covered the sort of official information that I really wanted to have a look at.
I've got to mention one other weapon in that.
Do it.
That look. The Kopesh.
Oh. It has limb chopper.
Epic again. Yeah, oh, you can mention it if you want.
Just giving it away. No, by all means, sorry.
Plus 5 weapon damage, plus 12 enhancement bonus, and most of the stuff in here is, as has already been mentioned, yes, it has limb chopper, bloodletter 7 and vampirism with 2 slots on it. Now, if you, for instance, put in a ruby eye of erosion and a ruby of endless night in there on top of it, you've got a lot of damage numbers, a bit of healing, and you've also got that marvellous limb chopper effect. That is a very nice weapon.
I entirely agree. And a funny little story about this is odd. I did notice Titan did mention PvP briefly. I don't like to talk about PvP too much, but yeah, indeed. But one time I did happen to find myself in the harbour brawling area, and somebody limb chopped me. and then left me alive. And
Oh,
that's not a pleasant experience.
painful.
Because it gives you like a minus however much percent. Most of your movement speed is immediately destroyed. You can barely do anything. You can hardly move, and it's permanent. And you have to log out or die to make it go away. And so they left me alive, and I couldn't get out of the brawling area because I couldn't move. So I had to log out.
They could have thrown the archers a bone though. There's no bows here.
A good point.
I mean, granted, archers aren't around every corner, but they are out there.
They're really pushing the great crossbows. There is a great crossbow in there, and they're trying to add a few more of those in. But you're quite right, there's no repeating crossbow, and there's no bows of any kind.
Yeah, that great crossbow is not going to help an arcane archer, is it? I mean, none of their stuff would work on that.
You're quite right.
Which I never really got. You're still an archer, just you're not, even if you're using a crossbow.
I might point out that the great crossbow has sovereign vorpal. Now, last time I checked, a crossbow wasn't a slashing weapon.
Well, Phil, having used both in target practices, it is a different skill.
Oh yeah, I physically both used bow and crossbows, but I'm just saying, not being able. Why can't I imbue my bolts with slaying power? It's like, oh, this magic doesn't work with bolts. Like, what? Oh, okay.
Because the people who developed it only liked arrows.
Yeah, like, no, physically it's different, but this is magic we're talking about.
What did you
Doesn't
say,
make any
Sin?
sense that. Sorry?
No, it's fine. Carry on.
I want to know what Sin was saying. He was saying something to me.
Sin, say it.
All the effects like Vorpal and Smiting and Banishing used to be specific to certain types of weapons, and that got changed a long time ago.
Yeah. Clearly I don't pay attention. I just like the idea.
That's why you can now get Banishing Sickles as Smiting.
Yeah.
You can get Vorpal hand wraps now. That makes me laugh.
I mean, I just kind of like the idea, like with hand wraps or with crossbow bolt. You're hitting them so hard in the head that their head is literally obliterated.
But like Sin said, I've still got it in my head that it's so sharp. That's how it does it, and I wonder how these monks get the hand wraps on without cutting their own hands off.
Have you ever been punched by a monk?
Yeah, but you gotta get the hand wrap on before you punch someone else. If it's that sharp.
To be fair, you can put nails in hand wraps. It's not that hard.
Yeah, but a nail ain't gonna chop your head off, is it?
No, but it can pierce your brain.
Well, that's
I do
delightful.
kind of feel sad that the monks can't get two different hand wraps. You know, that they all have to be paired like that.
Well, interesting point. Yeah, why not one hand wrap on each hand? That would perhaps take away their little sort of weird weapon bug as well, if you had to wear one on each hand. That's an interesting point.
It would be an interesting point, especially because they're planning on turning them. So they might be turning into weapons soon.
If they do, I hope they split them up, especially since doesn't two-weapon fighting help the monk? But you've only got one weapon?
Yeah, the monk is weird.
I don't know.
I think it'd be nice if the monks had choices.
Yeah. Double-handed punch.
And yes, I realize I'm advocating for antidote on one hand and that grave wrap on the other, but, you know, whatever's fun.
Shut up. Me too,
At some
City,
point,
me too.
Players do need to feel powerful, too. I mean, we do. Otherwise, it's not fun. We can't steamroll it all the time, but we do need to feel like we're strong. The monks are very unhappy that I know now, and it's sad that they're not happy.
I think the main problem with monks is in epic levels at the moment. I've done a monk live recently. It was the second life I did on this completions character. And yeah, I ran through 1 to 20 on Elite, no problem, just picking up what I got on the way. So yeah, I think epics is the problem for monks at the moment, but heroics is still a walk in the park.
I can keep Velociraptor alive in epics, but I don't know how much I'm actually helping. I kind of feel like Will Wheaton. Look at my damage, I'm helping.
So yes, is there any other part of the loot list that anyone is particularly interested in mentioning? We have covered most of it. The only thing we haven't really gone over at all is shields, of which there is a broad variety for every shield user, all along similar lines.
All I
One
know,
interesting aspect on that epic shield of Tireless Aids, the large shield, it has improved demonic shield as an effect on it, which I don't think we've seen before.
are Warforged still immune to its downside?
Where?
Or am I thinking of the wrong ability?
Which ability are you thinking of? Because I just said improved demonic shield, I don't think we'd seen it before.
Oh, well, Demonic Shield. Doesn't it also have like a hidden curses you back kind of thing?
That was the Bracers of the Demon Consort from the Demon Queen raids. There was a number of effects on that one. Improved Demonic Shield is a chance when you get hit of gaining a profane bonus of 120 temporary hit points.
Oh, okay. I thought it had a curse as well.
I am.
Can I say something about shields?
If you like.
I would like to see them add a feat list for single weapon and shield fighting together. Because they have so many awesome shields in this game, and people don't use them. And the books do have sword and shield style enhancement lines.
Well,
You do.
I don't
It's
think
called Shield
people...
Mastery. You get bonus double strike on your single weapon with it.
Yeah, but isn't that only if you're shield bashing?
No, the double strike applies to your main hand.
Okay, but that's all they get is double strike. That's it.
the
It's
shield
still a
line is a
bonus,
bit
and
weak,
you're
but
getting the bonus for wearing the shield as well, as long as the extra PRR. So, yeah.
But it seems like I'd lose a lot of DPS from the single weapon fighting, for example, or the two-handed fighting. I'd like to see something that brings it not more powerful, not crazy powered, but just in line so that people might actually choose to use some of this
It
stuff.
is a lower DPS, but then I kind of guess with the wearing of a shield, you're sacrificing some of that DPS for the fact that you have enhanced defenses. The counter argument to that, of course, is that in reality, in the real world, and the idea of the way things work is that shields are as much a form of defense as they are a weapon in themselves. And there's no reason why your ability to use a single weapon in one hand should be in any way diminished, particularly by wearing a shield. So why not have single weapon fighting be relevant? I would
have
agree.
some beautiful shields.
Sword and board is not used anywhere near as much as you might expect. And
unless you're a weirdo like me.
well, clerics
Or tanking.
being feet starved, a cleric who's not focusing as a caster or as a clonk, quite often you'll see clerics wearing a shield of some description and then whatever they're using in their other hand, or nowadays perhaps an orb, as that extra little chunk of defense because they have the feat for it. But they don't have feats to take any other weapon fighting style unless they splash fighter or whatever, or monk, or something else. So they may as well use what they already have proficiency with. But the only other class that uses shield, probably paladin, can go around the very defensive route and get a lot of bonuses for using shield. I don't know, maybe fighter, I don't know.
If you go down the Vanguard route, the shield is a fantastic weapon.
Yeah.
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 It procs at an 80% rate, or somewhere close to it, the same as two-weapon fighting. And this new ultimatum has something like a 3d12 damage on it. So it's a ridiculous weapon already, and you're getting all those shield bonuses.
And improved bashing 10.
I just think in the real world, like Dag said, people aren't using them because it's not some damage you lose, it's a crap ton.
It's nowhere near as much as you think.
Yeah, no, if you focus on Vanguard, it hurts. Trust me, Wocket would love to have enough AP to go deeper into
Okay, but maybe
Vanguard.
I mean something that's not enhancement specific for an entire line of products.
I can see the where Turtle's come from here, and this is kind of my perspective as well with perhaps being a as I said, being very particularly invested in clerics in particular. For the classes that have Vanguard, yes, shield's amazing. For the classes that don't have Vanguard, you will never find a shield unless they don't have, unless there's just nothing else for them to wear, which pretty much brings you around to a cleric that's not holding a caster item in their left hand. And
speaking of
that's it.
Vanguard, any chance we can add Kensai focused shields to Kensai?
You're being naughty. But
But they are supposed to be looking at the fighter trees at some point in the marvelous long enhancement pass. So yeah, you never know. Kensai is definitely getting looked at because it's too monk heavy at the moment.
And a little boring.
I had fun with it with my two-hander.
But
that was before fighters became helpless.
To randomly backtrack, the improved demonic thingamabob, what was it?
Improved demonic shield.
That's the one. I'm fairly certain, just having thought of it, that not improved demonic shield, but demonic shield already exists. I believe it was on on a piece of armor from 3 Barrel, maybe? Heavy armor?
Not the bracers of the demon consort from the Demon Queen rating.
According to the wiki, it's on the bracers of the demon's consort and the cavalry plate and the epic infested armor demonic shield.
There you go. So we were both right.
But that's just a standard demonic shield, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the cavalry plate has to be level 16 and above.
Yeah.
So this
I
is
was right in saying
you are right.
Demonic shield is a new effect we haven't seen.
Yes. Well, I was just thinking. It did just occur to me that I thought I'd seen it before, but yes, this is the first instance of the improved version. Yes, and also, of course, there's a lot of improved little chunks that are sticking in this update with introduction of more quality stuff and improved banishing bits and bobs like that.
Speaking of things that need to come back that we haven't seen in a really long time, and mostly speaking of Demon Queen, Torque. Can we please have a level 30 version of that effect? Because it is an awesome effect and
what
on
effect?
Nothing else.
I heard him say Hork, like half orcs. What is he? Torque.
The Torque of Prince Rahim, or whatever the hell his name is.
Well, we also have the Greensteel one.
Yes, so one might perhaps argue that one could expect it from Epic Greensteel, perhaps.
Yes, that is my assumption.
That's just a perhaps.
The argument against that, of course, is that the Torque is entirely useful at heroic levels, but as soon as you try and get into epic elite levels, you stack up so much dodge, so much displacement, so much PRR, and you try not to get hit so much that the Torque becomes superfluous.
So
I'd like to see it not require a hit.
Perhaps the epic one would require a miss.
What would it fire on? Wait a minute, he wants it to not require a hit, so what would it fire off on that's not just an endless mana well?
On a miss?
No,
That's an endless mana.
There would be a can only proc every X seconds.
Oh, so overpowered.
But on a miss.
No endless mana proc every 8 seconds where you can go hide in a corner for a few minutes, rebuild your mana, and go back. No.
They have to be targeting you. You can't go hide. It's not just gonna... Something has to be hitting you. Attacking you, I mean.
I think the way it is now is good.
Well, it doesn't work in epics is the issue. Otherwise, I'd be still wearing that damn thing. nobody ever hits me, so I don't have any on-hit. I don't even bother wearing guards because nobody ever hits me.
I still wear guards because of all my other stuff. I
Well,
still
yeah,
get hit.
if
I'm
it's
not a
just-
super armor class. I focus on damage and self-healing, so I get hit, but I survive it.
I'm too suicidal to not have a character that's built to be tough. I don't know if you guys have noticed when playing with me. Not obvious at all.
You can hit Water Song till the end of the day. She'll just heal herself and come back at you.
Well,
Green still fires a lot.
Oh, and by the way, Devs, I noticed that you gave me another Constitution item. Then stuck Death Block on it. Lightless. Stop sticking Death Block on con items. My Pale needs con.
I was just actually looking at that item. That's, yeah, I quite like that item. I think that would be really good for a ranger.
Well, it's a good item for everyone else. It just...
I'm just thinking rangers with the light armour. You've got the shelter in 35 to boost their PRR. You've got the ranged power and the melee power, so you can use your many shot and then wade in with your Tempest.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing item, and I'll probably put it on all my other characters. But my poor Hellmaster can't get Constitution.
You can make an offhand Con 9 dagger in the Shroud.
I wear shields.
oh, I tell you have not met this astonishing Pale Master creature. I imagine its loot requirements. I imagine its loot requirements are quite specific.
Failed. You need to run Haunted Halls. The purple dragon shield from the Haunted Halls has con 10 on it. It's not con 12, but it's close.
Yeah, but it has arcane spell failure, which I cannot deal with.
What about the one from the Orchard? There's one of them that has Con 10 and something else 10 on it.
Well, if there was an epic Fanion, it would have been perfect, but there was no epic Shields of Legend.
What's that one from the Orchard? What's the name of it? Does anyone remember?
Oh, are you talking about Skyvault?
No, from the new ones, the Epic Orchard.
I don't know. Is it above level 26?
They were all level 27.
I think it's a buckler.
So yes.
Yeah, because I've already got, like, I had a perfect setup until I realized Death Block would kill my negative energy healing.
Of course, it didn't used to, but since they changed the way Deathblock works, now it will.
Yeah, it was the Rising Light, Con 10, Dex 10, Prot 10, buckler.
And I checked. Apparently, it's working as intended. So it was like, ah.
Did you find it, Sin?
Yes.
What's it called?
Rising Light, Con 10, Dex 10, Prot 10.
Rising. How do you spell rising?
Rising, like the rising sun. Rising light.
Oh, it's a buckler.
Yeah.
Yes, I also mentioned that.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I carry around large shields, and currently I'm switching to a tower shield.
So, how does your spell failure work?
Here's the
It's
thing.
very complicated.
If you're not going to be a little bit flexible, you're always going to be doomed.
Oh, I'm flexible. That's why I'm going with Skyvault instead of a much more useful shield. The reason I'm going with Skyvault is because of the armor spell failure.
Also, if you get the Mythic Minos Legends helm, it's got Insightful Con 3, and you just diamond some more con in there. There's choices.
Talk to me about that helm.
I have the Epic Minos. I can easily get
Mythic
Con 8.
Minos.
Con 8
not
is
the
not
Epic, the Mythic.
Con 8 is not an issue. The issue is getting anything above that.
The Mythic
Trust me.
one would give you 9 with a +6 diamond.
I'll post my equipment. I don't want to waste the stream trying to build my character, so I'll post the equipment list I currently have on the minions, and you guys can fix that for me.
I'm sure it'd be
Yeah,
thrilling.
I'm sure I'm
I
boring
dropped
the
that
crowd.
Mythic helm on Kenneth on an Epic hard run. And for the last 2 months, I have daily been running Epic Fleshmakers on Epic Elite, and I've still to drop one on my main server.
I'm sorry. I would help you if we were on the same server.
RNG.
Oh, I hate bind to character. I never can find an item I'm looking for that is bind to character when I'm running it, but I go to run it on a different character, and the first thing that drops is that bind to character item, and nobody in the group wants it. It's like, it's a fantastic item, but nobody here wants it.
That's
Please
why
work.
I have 4 different caught in the web weapons on my monk I can't use, but nobody wanted, and it felt weird to let it rot in the chest.
Yeah. It's like, why do I have this? It's an awesome item, but my character will never use it.
But I
Maybe
can't get Balazard for my bard.
Yeah. Stop making things bind to character. It's annoying.
Well, for
Bind
one
to-
of my bards, the other one has it. And it's a fun
Bind
little
to
rapier.
account is an amazing thing.
Bind to
TTC.
character keeps us playing. Bind to account speeds it up and we get bored and walk off.
Yes, but I don't. I just play whatever. So when I get a bind to character item that I can't use, it's like, well, that goes in the trash because I don't grind.
Yeah, but they can't tailor the game just to you. They have to keep as many of us playing as they can.
I know. That's why I'm not really complaining.
Right, well, good. So, it's been very pleasant. We've covered all of the release notes, and we've covered the loot list in quite good detail, and told some interesting stories, and discussed builds, and gone over all kinds of things. But we have
We've
now...
both admitted we teleported ourselves out of quests.
Yes. We've been talking for just under 2 hours, and so I'm going to call the stream now. It's been very pleasant talking
More
with
anecdote?
you today. We might maybe we'll have one more anecdote from you before we end, if you're really
Okay.
good and stop talking. Okay.
I don't know if it's open, but it is updating on my launcher right now. It was not doing that earlier.
Well,
It is updating.
Jerry did say in our private little conversation that it would probably be about another 2 hours after the scheduled time, and we've been
Which
talking.
is in 8 minutes' time.
Yeah. So it may well be getting reasonably close to open time. Worlds be open in about a minute, Jerry says. So yes, we are about to have it open. So it's excellent timing all around. And
It's funny. The stream's over and the world's open.
yeah, just as soon as the stream ends, and we can go and play. Hilarious. So thanks everyone who came to watch today, and for listening to us babble on about nothing and keep everyone entertained while they've been waiting for something to do. And I'm sure this will happen again, because they do insist upon doing updates on a Monday.
Well, that gives them all week to fix it. I wouldn't want to do it near the weekend
That's
either when
very
everyone's
true.
home.
That's fair. That's an excellent point. I forgive them. Gives them a full 5 days for a hot
into my
fix.
job.
Yeah.
They have an emergency at my job. I don't answer my phone.
Would you rather there was 10 hours downtime today and then 4 hours downtime on Wednesday for the update?
Yep, that's very true. Okay, so Phil, did you want to say something? Did you have a little story you wanted to tell before I turn the stream off?
Yes, related to teleporting out of quest,
Okay.
I have to admit I have done something very recently that is somewhat similar. Not quite a quest, but again, back to Thunder Home. I'll do this right quick. We were doing Scroll Hunt, and we